Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and welcome back to another edition of RWBY Feedback. RWBY Feedback, where I give feedback on comments that you guys had for me for the last episodic review that I did. Episode 6, Fall. The most important RWBY episode to date. Now let me just get this out of the way right now. I will not be discussing any comments that had to do with, like, Summer Rose being a maiden or that revolve around the seasonal maidens, because I want to save all of that for the video that I'm gonna do where I specifically talk about the seasonal maidens. That's gonna be coming out next Monday, since Rooster Teeth isn't going to be putting out a RWBY video this week. They're going to be doing a live stream. I'm going to be putting out a video about the seasonal maidens on Monday, where it would normally be an episodic review. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to kill another fourth of the comments for this video. So a lot of you guys were sending me comments about how it must be like Mercury. He has some sort of poisonous semblance where he can manipulate people's minds into thinking that they see things, illusions. And then another part of you guys were like, it's Emerald. She's the one that can do illusions because she was there at the arena, and she was also there when Coco was taken out. She took out Coco, you know, with her illusions. But another one of you sent in, and this was actually, I think, a personal message, but I'm pretty sure there are a few other people that commented this. A few other people commented. Listen carefully. Right before Mercury goes to kick Yang and then she punches his leg, there's a sound effect. Play the clip.
There's not going to be a next time, Blondie.
You catch it? You catch that sound effect. Play it again. Alright, you got that sound effect? Now let's go back to Coco and Emerald's fight. Same sound effect. Same sound effect right before the illusion starts. Alrighty, so with that there, I was like, huh. So there's sound effects. So now we kind of know when the illusion starts. And Emerald was indeed present at both. And she seems to be the instigator. I guess Emerald may be the person who has that semblance. But then I went one step further. I said no. No, something isn't right with that. No. I went back to Volume 2 with the fight between Yang and Neo. Play the clip. You catch it? The same exact sound effect. The same exact sound effect from the two fights in Volume 3 is present right there in Yang's fight with Neo. Meaning, a majority of the fight Yang has with Neo is all in Yang's head. It's an illusion. That kind of explains how she wasn't able to hit her. Sure, Neo can be greatly skilled in evasion, but if it was an illusion, Neo wouldn't have to do anything. She wouldn't have to evade. She would just have to sit back and yet Yang flail at air. So, it isn't Mercury. It isn't Emerald who has this semblance. It's Neo. But how is she doing this? I'm not sure. And yeah, there is a possibility. Well, maybe they all have the same type of semblance. You know, maybe all their semblances are the same. Although extremely, very rare, and how almost impossible that would be, that is still a possibility. But with the evidence that I've given you guys, it's Neo. Neo is the instigator of the illusions. And now, with those two out of the way, let's get to the other comments. If there are any others. Maybe Coco, with the guy Neo knocked out in round 1, will at some point come together with Yang and realize that there is something fishy about Merc's team. Yes, that is a possibility. A lot of you guys actually had comments along these lines about who would be there to defend Yang. And a lot of you people are saying that possibly Coco, possibly like Yatsuhashi, the team from the teams round that fought Cinder's team, and then a lot of you people were thinking Raven would come. Now, let me give a rebuttal. Now, yes, Team Coffee and the other team, you know, they may have some doubts that there was some shifty business going on, but you have to remember, Yang blatantly hit this guy for no reason. And even if they do hear her story, sure, they can be all like, yeah, that was kind of how you're saying that you like saw something that was different from reality. I kind of had the same experience. But I don't think that that's gonna really hold up in like a court of law or whatever. I mean, Yang may be able to get out of this, and my thinking of her turning to the dark side may have been a little bit jumping the gun. But I do think if Yang is to turn to the dark side, it would have to be a much elongated process. It wouldn't just happen overnight, it would take time for it to happen. But the idea that Raven will come and talk to Yang is also a possibility. We have to remember, Raven, she went off on her own. She was like on the run or something. So now she's gonna come to her daughter when she's in need, and maybe it will be a scenario like, you can run away with me. Run away with mommy. But for all you guys who were talking about who will come to Yang's defense, I like your comments, and I loved every single one of them. If auras and semblances aren't magic, then what do we call it? We call them auras and semblances. That's what I've been doing for the past 2 years. I guess the Ozpin is Mercury theory finally has a leg to stand on. Oh, dang, it does. Frickin' time travel. I think Yang is going to be arrested, but will be broken out by Raven. She is her daughter after all. I doubt she would let this go by. She might even help her hunt down Neo and prove herself innocent. Yeah, like I was saying before, I think that this is definitely a possibility. There may be a portion of this volume where it's all like, Yang's a wanted criminal or something like that. I think that would kind of add a little bit more spice, a little bit more angst to this show. But the possibility of Raven coming and aiding Yang with this new situation, I think that would be really cool to see happen. Is it posse? I think you forgot that it's possible, but whatever. Is it posse that you can do a breakdown of Team Stark like you did Team Coffee before? Yes, it is possible. I got something else to work on now. Thank you, Marcus Mosley. So if magic is powerful, then what about Velvet? I remember Monty specifically stating that Velvet is a spellcaster who uses magic. So I wonder, is Velvet related to a maiden? I'm sure she isn't a maiden, but there is a connection there I can feel. Well, if she was related to a maiden, that wouldn't really grant her magical powers, I don't think. What we know so far about the Maiden's power is that it is transferred from maiden to maiden. None of it really lingers in one place. It's always transferring to one person, and then that one person has all the power, except if they're attacked, and then part of it is leached out of them by some barbaric means. But I don't think Velvet would have magic like the Maiden's power. It is true that Monty said that Velvet is like a spellcaster. I don't know if he said that uses magic. I mean, it would be different if I actually saw proof, like a video where Monty specifically said this, or a text document where he specifically said that. But I think for now, Velvet's attacks are gonna be like a spellcaster, similar to a spellcaster. Until we get further evidence, that's what I'm gonna be going with right now. I doubt it was Neo at the end, although it is possible Neo's illusions have been shown to be visual. but affected Yang. What affected Yang seemed more to be mental manipulation, or else the cameras would have picked it up. What do you mean the cameras would have picked it up? I mean, I'm not sure if I made this, like, really known, but the illusion was specifically targeted Yang. That whole bout happened in her mind. When Yang saw that Mercury was coming after her, in reality, she was just kind of standing there. And it's when she went to attack his striking leg is when she shot down to hit his real leg. And as I said before, I did kind of prove that it is indeed Neo who was doing the illusion things. Although the bastard Mercury was seen trying to kick Yang after he lost, they still booed the hell. Well, Mercury never tried to kick Yang. That was the illusion. He was just standing there in real life. That was the illusion. The illusion was him going to kick her. The audience just saw that he was just standing there. He could have been telling her, you know, good fight, you know, whatever. But then she just took out his leg. That's what they were booing. You know, Yang doing that for no good reason. Blake's book from episode 2 and 3, wide-eyed face. Yes, indeed. There was indeed, in volume 1, a section where when Yang and Ruby were first meeting Blake, she was reading a book. And the book was about a man that had 2 souls, fighting control over his body. Now, obviously, this is supposed to be a parallel for what is going to be happening to Pyrrha in future episodes if she does indeed become the Fall Maiden. There's going to be Pyrrha's soul in her body, but there's also going to be Amber's soul in her body. So, things are going to heat up in that situation with Pyrrha and Team Juniper. It's probably going to be some really sad times, too. Theory. Since Pyrrha might lose her memory, and Weiss seems to have dumped Neptune, maybe Jean and Weiss might get together? Yay? No! I mean, it would be nice for Weiss and Jean to get together, but it's like, Jean and Pyrrha, we've been wanting that since forever! Oh, Ruby, why must you take my heart and break it in two? Aren't you gonna tell us what the other legends and myths are based off? And who are the other 3 maiden? I'm gonna talk about the 3 maidens in the video. That's gonna be coming out Monday, don't you worry. But as for the other legends and myths that were mentioned in this episode, the 2 brothers, that might be a reference to the brothers Grimm, that, you know, wrote all the fairy tales. The maid in the tower, obviously probably Rapunzel or Sleeping Beauty. And then the shallow sea, that was it. To be honest, I can't think of any fairy tale that I know of that would be attributed to the shallow sea. What do you guys think? What do you think that those myths and legends and remnants are actually based off of in our world? Hey, get it? Cinder Fall? Like the season? Yes, I got that 2 years ago. Is there a video about the potential Yang versus Ruby thing? No, I didn't actually make a video. I just remembered, like, talking about it once, and the sad thing is, I make so many RWBY videos that I forget when I talk about things, so I apologize about that, but if things continue to go forward the way that they may, I may end up making the potential RWBY theory where Yang versus Ruby. I may end up making a video like that. Is anyone even the slightest bit confused on why Ozpin is still alive? No? I mean, he's just old. What's wrong with being old? I mean, we don't know how old people get on Remnant. Was it only me that noticed that Cinder left before the match? She was using what was happening in the fight as a distraction to go after someone. Or something. Yes, that is indeed true. She did indeed leave right before the match started. So she may be going off to do something. I mean, I did notice that she left, but I didn't really think too much of it. But now I think she's definitely going off to do something. Now the possibilities may be she's trying to access the vault so that she can get at Amber. She may be trying to do something to Penny, or maybe she's going to try to break Torchwick out or something? Who really knows? Cinder doesn't tell people her plans, and that's why they've worked out so far. Less people know, the less chance of it getting out. Oh, this is a real good one. This is a real good comment. But it falls under the lines of the Maidens. I will talk about this comment in that video, I swear to you. Tonya Greenbane Powers. You know who you are. You know what comment you left. You know! I totally want to see the RWBY/Yang fight. It would be so awesome, but at the same time so wrong. I know, and that's why I kind of want it to happen. Because if the show does indeed grow dark, that would almost be the perfect, like, push to make it dark, where we have sister and versus sister. I was just thinking, what if the old man's powers passed down from one man to another, too, and now Ozpin has the powers? That would make sense how he's lived so long and why he took a certain interest in that story and why he is now the head of the Brotherhood of the Seasonal Maidens. That would actually make sense. Maybe magic in Remnant functions like energy. It cannot be destroyed. It can only be passed on and distributed. No, wait, that's matter. Maybe magic is like matter. Amber has scarring near her left eye, and we never see Cinder's left eye. In the lyrics of the song Sacrifice in Volume 2, there is a line that reads, "Truth will rise, revealed by mirrored eyes." Perhaps eyes are somewhat important in the way the Maiden's powers work. That would make a lot of sense. We did see that pretty much whenever Cinder would use her powers, like her eyes would glow, and, you know, as a symbol of power. And so maybe specific eyes translate to a specific Maiden's power. And that would also, you know, support the fact, you know, Ozpin took interest in RWBY because of her silver eyes. Just saying. Yang may fall to the dark side. Fuck you, Button Hat. Yang is the good side. How could this happen? It's nice of you that you voiced your opinion about that. Thank you. I'm the only one that noticed what happened when Glinda and Ironwood arrived in the elevator. She was adjusting her glasses and him his clothes. But maybe I'm stretching it too far, but to arrive late to the meeting doesn't mean wait. Late? These two? One being a military man and the other the most strict teacher who you can have. These are the kind of people that would miss schedules. And even Crow arrived before them. Crow! But they weren't only arriving late, they were arriving late together. What are the chances of when you arrive late on the same place, meaning at the same time in the elevator, which other person that arrives late? Something happened with these two. I'm not sure if it was if it was in one of them home or a quick one in the janitor's closet, but something happened. We have seen Ironwood and Glinda kind of have a thing? I wouldn't say a history, but it's definitely a thing. We've seen that he has, you know, gone to her at the dance in Volume 2. He stated that he was happy to see her when he first arrived in Volume 2. And we did see her comforting him at the end of Volume 2. So, could there be a little hanky-panky going on between the two of them? Maybe? I don't want to see fan art about this. But it's already happened, has it? The robot soldiers will become stormtroopers. Meaning they won't be able to hit something when they're shooting? Probably my least favorite because it's so dark. You haven't watched Elfen Lied, have you? You poor, poor sod. Has anyone else noticed that Amber and Emerald look nearly identical? In what way? I mean, their skin tones are kinda similar, but Emerald is definitely darker. Like, do you mean just like facial structure and face shape? Because if you really think about it, almost every single female's face in RWBY is the same shape. I love the way you open my mind to things I never think of. Well, that's kind of the main reason I do these videos is, I mean, what do I do really with the review? I mostly state things that you guys pretty much see, but I give my own spin on how I see things. So if I help you guys come up with like other theories and like seeing things in a different way, I think I've done my job. Because that's really the main reason I do this, is to help you guys see some awesome things. And thank you for that. Warms my heart. Remember when Winter said to Weiss, emotions are powerful, but you can't let them overpower you? That's totally exactly like Yang. Yang is very much almost a slave to her emotions. He wouldn't be a good Jedi. But I think Yang's strong suit is that she's able to get control of her emotions before she goes too far. She's able to go far enough to win, but not far enough to really kill anyone. It was just due to the illusion that she, went too far, shot Mercury in the leg. Also, that could possibly be Neo. Dude, did you get a little less British since the last episode? I have a terrible tendency of transforming into accents as I talk, mostly to keep myself entertained. If it bothers you guys, I apologize, but that's just the way I talk. And to answer your question, I don't think I got a little less British. I would have to be British in order to get less British. Everything is perfect. But Adam. Where is my boy Adam? Oh, my dear boy, my dear friend. RWBY and putting out a show like this is a lot like poker. You don't show your good hand until the opportune moment. I guess Mercury isn't a cyborg after all. Well, that was something I didn't cover in the review that I instantly regretted, but him getting shot in the leg, now, we didn't see blood, and we didn't see his leg. We just saw him holding it. And think of it this way, if the wound was meant to maim, that would be a very, very steep, price to pay on Mercury's part just so Cinder can advance her plan a little bit. Now, I know that Cinder is the kind of person that would easily sacrifice Mercury or Emerald at a drop of a hat in order to get what she wants, but I think it's a little bit too early in the game for her to get rid of one of her best fighters. One of you guys even stated in a comment that, maybe this wasn't even part of the plan. Maybe Mercury getting shot wasn't part of the plan, and so he's completely flabbergasted about it. So, yeah, that would, lead to him maybe turning to the good side, that Cinder, she screwed me over, now my leg's all busted up and I'll never be able to fight again. That may lead to that. But if he is a cyborg, him getting shot right there, that could be repaired, and he can be back to kicking the crap out of people in no time at all. So, the fact that he may be a cyborg is definitely still alive. We'll just have to wait for what happens in future episodes to find out if it actually holds any salt. My question is, where is Neo? Good question! If Neo is doing all of these illusions, then where is she? I mean, can she form an illusion bubble around herself, making her invisible? I solely believe and wholeheartedly believe that Neo is the one that's doing the illusions. But how she's doing them is another story altogether. Where exactly is she? I mean, I want to see her just to see her because she's my RWBY waifu, but I want to see her so I can understand freaking things. Crow does mention males have got the power before. No, he didn't. He says,
when a maiden dies, the one who is in her final thoughts is the first candidate to inherit her power.
Unless it's a dude or some old hag. Then the power goes to someone random.
the seasonal maiden powers do not go to men. Unless I missed something that you picked up, in which case, leave a comment down below that tells me the exact time where he says that it can go to guys. Brotherhood of the Seasonal Maidens equals BSM or BOSM equals bosom. Bosom. Consuming mercury, the element, makes you hallucinate. Could it have been Mercury making Yang hallucinate and not Neo doing it? Now, that is a very reputable fact that Mercury does indeed make people hallucinate, and there were a few other comments stating pretty much the same thing. But then, how do you explain the sound effect being at every single hallucinating point? I mean, when Coco was under the illusion of seeing Yatsuhashi, she was nowhere near Mercury, and she really only took a couple of blows from him. But yes, he did do his like air attack at them, and that air may have like Mercury embedded air that will cause people to hallucinate later. I mean, she was nowhere near Mercury at the time, and if it's his semblance, he would have to be within a certain distance, and then there's a whole thing with Neo making the same sound effect back in Volume 2. Oh, so confusing. When the story mentioned an old man, I immediately thought of the old man running the noodle shop. It's extremely unlikely, hell impossible, but that would be the best plot twist ever if he was actually a god of some kind. That wouldn't be impossible. I think that's a very, very good idea. I mean, why would they keep an extra like that in all 3 volumes? Unless he was somewhat important. I mean, he may just be that funny reoccurring character like the cabbage guy in Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I think the possibility of him being that old man, it's definitely a possibility and something that we should look out for in the future. One thing I don't understand is during the fight, Yang hit Mercury in the stomach, thus making his aura shield retreat back into his body. But it wasn't her last hit. After that, she hit him in the face, which definitely had the gun power to it. But when he hit the ground, he gave no thought to his face. But yet, when she hit him in the leg, it then broke. Not sure if he was acting on it, but if he got hit in the face with the final hit without his aura and still has his face and jaw intact, then something's wrong. At the same time, though, I quite still believe his reaction a bit, because it seems real to the tough guy standard. Well, if we actually look back at that scene, when Yang throws the final punch onto his face, there's no dust discharge. So that punch was just a regular punch to the face. Sure, she's strong, but I don't think that would cause any permanent damage to Mercury. I knew you were going to do the intro like that. Well, dang. I'm too predictable. I should really change it up. I really should try more. The person whose song is based on can see through illusion, so that might be a plot point in the upcoming episodes. You know, Sung Wukong helping out Team RWBY, helping out Yang. That might be a little bit cool. Jake, can you do another video about your Team Jester team, please? Well, this is kind of out of the blue. Why would you want to hear about my OC team again? I mean, I know that I've made further developments on the characters, but if you want to hear about them again, I don't know. I mean, maybe in the future, but thanks. Thanks for that. And, that reminds me about another OC video that I should probably get around to doing at one point. But the real question is, why do you want me to talk about Team Jester again? Leave a comment down below telling me why. Alrighty guys, that's going to end this feedback video. Once again, thank you to everyone who commented about like anything you guys had. I enjoy reading your comments, and you know, a lot of them really did bring up a lot of cool things. I am going to be making some more videos in the future about some of the things that you guys are talking about. And be sure to check out my Maidens video that I'm going to be making, I'm going to be putting out on Monday. So be sure to watch out for that, and remember to be a good person, tip your waitresses, keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. I'll see you then. Yeah,